Sorry, start.
A very good evening to everyone. Today we are here with the second lot of our experts, the CAs and the lawyers. So we welcome you on behalf of Delhi Public School Durg and all the parents and the children. We are doing this webinar series on career. Day one we spoke to the doctors, day two we spoke to the engineers, and today we have lawyers and the chartered accountants with us. So primarily the basic aim of conducting this kind of a program is to motivate the students and provide them guidance from their own school fellows, from their own seniors, from their own, I would say, role models, those who have passed from the same school in different years. So today we are going to have this panel of six, students of our school, those who are shining, those who are doing wonderful in their careers, and there has been a lot of learning that they must have had in the school here as students. And today they will be relating their success stories. They will be guiding the juniors as to how they can dream for a career and how they can approach that career and what way can one be successful in different fields. No matter what set of subjects you choose when you go in your class 11, after that, when you pursue your career, when you go ahead with the professional studies, there are many fields which are available. The only thing is that you have to realize your potential and understand where you are and what you can do in a better way. So I would like to introduce you to the panel. On the panel, right now you can see on screen, we have Rishika Jain. She is a pass out of 2015. She is a lawyer. She has studied from National Law School, University, and she is a pass out of 2015, as I said. We have P. Upasana with us. She is also a pass out of 2015 only. She has also done graduation and then LLB. She's also one of the, I would say, budding lawyers and those who are competent enough to pursue a career with absolute brilliance. Then we have two CAs with us. We have Rachita Rungta. She's also a pass out of 2015. And we do have Akanksha Pandey, another CA with us. We have on our panel Mrs. Zohra Hussain, our senior faculty. She is the HOD of English department, a founder teacher. She has seen these children, come to the level they are at present. And in between, she would be relating certain stories of theirs and would be reminding them of their school days, which are in fact the most beautiful days of each and everyone's life. So I would proceed ahead by the time the rest of the panel joins us. And as they join us, I'll be introducing them. I would like to request these children one by one, these panelists one by one. Rishika Jain, I would like to first of all ask you to introduce yourself to the viewers, to the students. And let me tell you that many parents are also there, those who are watching you people. So you can give your brief introduction and where you are, what way you are proceeding ahead in your career, how did you take up your field, how did you choose it. I think Shriyankar Nandi is also there with us now. Shriyankar, can you hear us? Shriyankar, can you hear me? I think there must be some technical problem. Rishika, you can start your introduction, please.
Yes, sir. So my name is Rishika Jain. I am a student of DPS Durg and I've actually studied in DPS Durg all the way. So I joined in 2003, which was the first year the school offered like courses at all. And I was there all the way till 2015, which was my like standard 12th. After that, I wrote CLAT and I entered the National Law School of India University. I had a good run in college. I think I had a lot of fun. And now, after my 5 years, I have joined Justice Shantanu Gowda at the Supreme Court as his research assistant and clerk. After that, I intend to apply for LLMs, say like 2-3 years later. So that's it.
Great, wonderful. B. Upasana, it's your turn now.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Rishika's batchmate from school, so both of us graduated in 2015. I joined DPS Durg in 2008, and so I have spent my formative years in DPS Durg, that can be said, from class 6 to class 12. After graduating in 2015, I wrote CLAT, and I joined National Nalsar University, Hyderabad, which is National Law School, Hyderabad. And I am a fresh graduate, and I intend to join a corporate law firm in Mumbai after this.
Wonderful. Now, Rachita Rungta, a chartered accountant. You introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, panelists. Good evening to all the ones who are attending this session currently. My name is Rachita Rungta, and I am a chartered accountant. I joined this school, DPS Durg, way back in 2007 when I was in class 5th. Then all those 8 years of journey, it was a roller coaster ride. It was a hell lot of new learning. Yeah. So then post passing in 2015, I joined Chartered Accountancy course. I qualified in May 2019, and I'm currently working with KPMG Pune.
That's really nice. It's your turn now, Akanksha.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Akansha Pandey, and I joined DPS Durg in year 2007. And post graduating in 2015, I wrote CA Foundation. Now, 5 years later, I'm currently completing my articleship in Ketavit Kartane and Pandit LLP. And as for future plans, I plan to do CFA, which is specialization in capital markets.
Wonderful. So we do have more panelists joining us. By the time they join, actually, we would be moving ahead with the questions and with the kind of discussion here. The way we have these lawyers with us, I'd like to ask you that a student can go for law even after graduation. So if it comes to a kind of a comparison between a 5 years law integrated course or a law course of 3 years after doing your 12th, after doing your graduation rather, so which would you be in a way guiding children for? Rishika, you can give me this reply.
Yes, sir. So I would most certainly, I think, advise people to take the 5-year integrated course. So there are multiple reasons. So in my head, I think the main reason why you would opt for the 3+2 program, which is the do your graduation and then you can do law program, is for those people who aren't sure of opting for law in the first place when they graduate from like class 12th, in which case it's a great option. But I think if you're already sure of wanting to do law when you're graduating from school, I think the integrated program makes sense, because I personally thought that the amount that is to learn and the kind of exposure that you get when you're doing law for 5 years is just much more expansive and better. And I think the second main reason is that as things stand currently in terms of law college rankings and the quality of the legal education institutions in the country, I also believe that the best colleges out there are also the ones who are offering only the integrated program, which is the 5-year program. In which case, I think both keeping in mind the value that you derive from the program itself, but also keeping in mind the quality of the colleges that are offering those two programs, it makes sense to at least aim for the 5-year program, in my opinion. But I don't know if Upasana agrees or.
Yeah, Upasana, what's your opinion?
I agree with Rishika, when she says that the 5-year program is a much better option. And the primary reason is that as students, we save one valuable year of our life, because if you go for a 3+3 program, you end up studying for 6 years. Whereas through the integrated program, you do your basic bachelor's and get an LLB as well with honors in 5 years. So that's one of the primary reasons. And secondly, the way the integrated course is structured, as Rishika correctly pointed out, the exposure is immense. And uh, the fact of the matter is that in the 3-year program, these exposures are highly curtailed. So you might be able to do just a moot court or maybe a couple of competitions here and there, but the exposure that your counterparts are getting through the 5-year program is much greater.
Also, just
Right.
to
Yeah, and I would like to introduce the two more panelists, those who joined us now. We have two students of Delhi Public School Durg, those who are pass out of the year 2011. So we have with us Shriyankar Nandi and Vedapriya Lahiri. We would like to welcome you on this panel. This exercise that we are into is primarily to guide the younger ones, the juniors of yours, to pursue a career which you are shining in. So we would be going ahead with discussion, and we would be telling them as to how they have to approach their aim and what way will they be reaching the heights in their particular careers. So before we move ahead in our discussion, I would like to ask Vedapriya to give your introduction to the viewers and to all the panelists. And thereafter, Shankar, you'll be telling about yourself, and then we'll be moving ahead with the discussion. Please, Vedapriya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for choosing me, giving me this opportunity. It's very wonderful to connect back to DPS Durg after so many years. It's also very wonderful to see Zohra ma'am after these so many long years. So I am Vedapriya Lahiri. I graduated, I passed out from DPS Durg in 2011. I joined when I was in class 7th, and I did my schooling until class 12th. After which I gave the CLAT examination, the National Level Law Examination, and I did my bachelor's BLLB honors from Hidayatullah National Law University, Raipur. I further then studied my post-graduation, or what we call LLM, from National Law University, Delhi, which is another national level exam you have to qualify called ILET. I have qualified UGC NET, and I'm currently working as an assistant professor at Delhi Metropolitan Education, a college under IP University in New Delhi. And it's wonderful to see all the faces. I believe Shriyankar is a batchmate and everybody else is a junior. So thank you for having me. Over to you, Shriyankar.
Yes, Shriyankar, you can give your introduction, please. I think there is some audio problem. Shankar, we are not able to hear you.
Use your computer audio, maybe. Use your computer audio.
So by the time Shankar comes to us, I would request the CAs to kindly, elaborate a little more. Rachita, you can please.
So to be a chartered accountant, it requires, we don't have any college or as such. Apparently, sadly, but we do not have any college life with us. But that's not the matter with us, right? If one wish to pursue CA, then it requires a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. And every course requires that, like, I'm not denying that thing. But, when we post class 12, when you enter CA Foundation or CA CPT, these days it is being called as CA Foundation, you would comparatively feel a little bit, you're appearing in class 11th or 12th exam, because the course is little bit similar. But once you are through with your entrance, then the real story starts. The IPCC part, which is these days called as CA Inter, that is something where, it's a big ocean. Like, you go on there, You just have to study for all those 9 months, which is there in between your CA foundation and your CA IPCC exams. And in these 9 months, you literally need to cut off from the world. Right? I would say this mobile phone, you have to, get rid of it. Because of this, uh, this is my advice to everybody who are aspiring to be a chartered accountant. This has to be controlled. And then we can have post clearing IPCC. You need to undergo mandatory 3 years of articleship, and after that you're eligible to appear for CA final. And once you clear that, the success is all yours.
Yeah, Akanksha Pandey, you can give a bit of idea from your perspective. What triggered you? What made you go ahead with chartered accountancy? You can give your version on that.
Chartered accountancy is a course which I believe focuses on all over competency, and it's like a stepping stone which sets your tone, that you get an idea as to which is the direction or which is the area where you want to gain expertise, be it international taxation or whatever. So chartered accountancy is literally a very comprehensive course, and we do, as it further stage by stage, we learn a lot. Like just as Rachita said, she very rightly said that it is like an ocean. You have to swim, you have to wade through, and when you emerge, there is nothing like it.
That's really nice. As we talk about all these, careers, when we speak of being an engineer, doctor, chartered accountant, there are certain role models in front of us. So if I would like to ask you people as to who was your role model and why did you choose a particular field? I would like to begin with Vedapriya Lahiri. You can tell me, as to who gave you this kind of, I would say, inner feeling that you can do very well in this field.
Okay, sir, I would like to say this here, that in 11th and 12th at DPS Durg, I was a science student. I graduated as a science student, and with all the motivation of doing engineering. And in the process, through my teachers, through my mother, I realized that there were other examinations in which I also had an aptitude and I should give a try. Through in that process, I found out about CLAT and I gave CLAT. And as luck would have it, it has been great. So I qualified that. As far as role models are concerned, sir, I would say that I have developed role models over time. It's like when I was in school, I would say I would be totally guided by the opinions of my teachers, because they are our role models. They are our first instance guides as to what we are supposed to do. They can tell us best. Over the time in law, I would say that there have been many great personalities, and even like current lawyers, who guide us or who shape us our career views. So they have motivated me. So in school, it would be the teachers. In college, it would be the lawyers I have interacted with. So that way I could classify.
Wonderful. Shreyankar, can we connect to you again, please? Shankar Nandi.
I think Shriyanka's mic is not unmuted.
Your mic needs to be.
I would ask you to unmute your mic, please, Shriyankar.
There must be some problem in between. As far as chartered accountancy is concerned, I would go back to Akanksha Pandey once again. If you have to guide a student, actually, basically the problem that the children face is when we talk of sciences and when we talk about the studies in humanities, the basics are already with the students. They've studied social sciences. They know how to go about history, geography, and all that. When we talk about science, they are well aware about biology, physics, and chemistry. But when it comes to commerce, so normally the students of CBSE curriculum schools, I would say, they have accounts for the first time in class 11. They have business studies for the first time in front of them. So, what kind of thought has to be there while choosing commerce as a field and then going ahead for chartered accountancy? Akanksha.
Sir, what I would suggest is first is knowing yourself. For any stream, knowing yourself is very important. Like there is nothing like the commerce is very easy or science is difficult. There is nothing like it. But if you go particularly for commerce, then anyway, when we choose stream, we need to have certain background details. We research or whatever. We ask people as to what exactly constitutes that stream, what are the subjects and all, and then a person or a student needs to have their own self awareness as to what are their strengths, their weaknesses. That is very important, because at this stage when you're choosing stream, or even after 11th or 12th, some people migrate to commerce from science background. If you are not at all aware about your strengths and weaknesses and your ability to continue, because every professional course or good courses require hard work, consistency, and you need to have interest in those subjects. Without interest, you won't be able to put in 4 to 5 years of rigorous studies or rigorous hard work into that subject or that course of line. So students at first need to be self-aware. Then you need to research and know about things. You can't randomly choose a particular course or subject. And then as for chartered accountancy, there are a lot of courses available with commerce. So it all depends on what is your area of interest and what are your aspirations and what do you see yourself as 10 years or 15 years down the line. So that matters a lot.
Okay, that's really nice. And I would like to now ask the lawyers. Actually, you people have wonderful libraries. When we talk about lawyers, there are libraries which are filled with a lot of books and a lot of stuff to go into. These days, the things have gone digital. So, I mean, how do you find it now? And what way was it in the earlier days? This needs to be understood a little. I would go back to Upasana for this. I mean, what's your take on this?
So I think I can call myself a new generation lawyer. So ever since I entered law school, I've primarily been only researching on online platforms. So I'm not at a very good position to comment on how it was before. But as with everything else, technology has been a huge helping hand to the field of legal research itself. So now things have become so much more easier, and the expanse of the material that you can access. So like law schools have subscription to databases which are from Oxford and Cambridge and other reputed law institutions. So, and not just law, I must point out that we have access to a lot of other fields also, because law overlaps with almost everything. So I feel that technology has definitely helped us lawyers expand our scope, understand more, and as students of law, it has helped us stand on our own feet, so we can easily go beyond what is being taught in class and explore stuff. So I think it is definitely great that we are living in the digital age.
Okay, what's your take, Rishika?
So I actually largely agree with Upasana. I was more of a library person than an online research person before the pandemic happened. But honestly, like the way because of how critical research is to the legal profession, and this is actually something that I wanted to tell any students who are watching this, that do not take up law unless you're willing to read a lot and read constantly. Like I think Upasana and I must have spent like the past 5 years of our life maybe reading like at least 6 hours out of a 24-hour day, like on a like project deadline type time. So that aside, I think, like Upasana said, because of how critical research is to the legal profession and legal education, we both of us at least have had the privilege of like studying in a university which had tie-ups with a lot of research databases. So how the system works is that the university pays them a certain amount of fee, and then those databases are made available to the students for free, which is how it worked for us. And those databases would involve everything ranging from academic articles, sometimes Oxford University publication books, as well as cases. including those in India as well as the US and the UK. So there'd be different databases that you access for each of these. And when we joined the college as first years, in my college, we had a database orientation where a senior, say someone who's currently in third year or fourth year, will tell us how each of these databases work, how to access them, and how to research on them. Which is why I think even though I was more of a library person when I was in college, transitioning online wasn't really very difficult for us because of the kind of tech support systems that our university provided, and the seniors sort of facilitated by making us aware of everything and how to work through it. So yeah, I mean, it definitely helped a lot.
Wonderful. I would go back to Vedapriya. I would ask you, if a student wishes to go ahead in the field of judiciary, if somebody plans to go ahead in the field of judiciary and appears for the judiciary exams, what kind of preparation shall be done by those students?
Okay. So, sir, how judiciary exam works is that the judiciary exam is local to a state. So each state conducts their own judiciary examinations. Now, judiciary examinations are again divided into lower judiciary and higher judiciary. If a law student passes out after 5 or 6 years of course after their bachelor's, they can directly sit in any of the states with lower judiciary. But to access higher judiciary examination, you need at least 7 years of practice. So this is the first distinction. 7 years of constant litigation practice is how it distinguishes. Now, you would be then, once you clear the examinations, you would become a judicial magistrate, second class, first class, and you would rise so on and so forth at the bench. Now, how to prepare about it? So, there are certain core subjects in law, and I believe Rishika and Upasna would agree on this, that which are common for all the fields, like all the exams in all the states. Like we call them Code of Civil Procedure, Criminal Procedure, Indian Penal Code. You would hear these terms even in normal common parlance, but there are proper laws that have to be studied. And by studying, we mean you have to study the actual laws, their language, and other materials that support it in the form of cases. Right? And every judiciary examination, more or less, in the lower judiciary I am speaking right now, has 3 stages, where there is a preliminary examination of objective nature, then you have a second stage exam which is subjective in nature, and finally you have an interview. So as far as preparation hours go, it has to be pretty rigorous, because at every stage now, the number of seats that come out in judiciary are very less. Like if you were to give Delhi Judicial Service examinations, then you would have around 18 seats. And the number of students who would be appearing would be around 8 lakhs. So we need to really keep that perspective in mind and know that we have to work very, very hard. You have to study all the laws, you have to keep revising, you need to take care of time. As it happens with any competitive exam, that needs to be taken care of. And I would suggest that if judiciary is the aim of a student, then one should start studying from the very beginning of their course. Like take the subjects that come in judiciary a little more seriously and do an in-depth study while you're studying that in a semester. Because that is the time where you have a lot of time to do an in-depth study of the subject. If you're thinking of preparing that subject after doing a 5-year course, going into a coaching institute, then you will always have a crash course version of that subject. So that is my opinion on judiciary, lower judiciary, because I believe students, once they get out, they want to apply more for lower judiciary. So that's what I would say.
Okay, Shriyankar, can we connect to you now?
I guess you can hear me now.
Yeah, Shriyankar,
Yes, you have.
we would wish to know from you about your journey.
Hello, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, please tell us as to how did you dream of being a lawyer and what way did you proceed ahead? So, yeah, we would like to listen from you now.
See, so the thing is, I graduated from DPS Durg in 2011. Thereafter, I graduated from HNLU in 2016. Of course, Vedapriya knows me. She is my batchmate. We have had a good past of course, we have had a past. And we know certain things about each other. So of course she can connect certain things. See, the thing is, I will not comment on other things. I can comment on my profession. So I recollect you saying certain things about how to decide your profession, how to decide your vocation. So the thing is, according to me, we all run for desires, not for need to fulfill long way back. We generally go for desires, that money factor which is involved. So that is the object. There are three desires we have in our lives, and that is, first is power, second is money, and the third is popularity, or you can say celebrity. So these are the three things people strive for. So first, a student needs to understand what he wants in life: power, celebrity, or money. These are the three things. You can go for a mixed match of all these things, but these are the three things people go for. So first you need to decide that. Thereafter, I can comment on this profession. This is okay, I am a lawyer, and as well as I'm an advocate. Now there is a difference. Advocate is a person who practices court of law, and lawyer is a person who practices law. For example, there are so many juniors, I can see their faces right now. These people are lawyers, but I guess none of them are into litigation. Is there any one of them who is into litigation? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Rishika and
Hello.
Upasana, you can revert.
Yeah, I want to litigate in the future. So right now I am doing a clerkship with the judge. After that, I want to do my LLM, and then after that, I want to do criminal and human rights litigation.
Upasana?
What's your age right now?
Right now I'm 23. Yeah, 23.
Fresh graduate. Welcome to the life. Welcome to the life.
I graduated this June, basically. Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations. And is there anyone else who is into litigation? Then I can start with litigation. What is litigation? No one else, I guess. Okay. So the thing is, according to me, key attributes needed to be a good, like if you want to be a good advocate.
Yes. I think there is a bit of technical issue. I would go back to Zohra ma'am. Zohra ma'am, you can remind these panelists today as to how were they when they were in the school. Zohra ma'am, come on.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to begin by saying one thing which is very common with the lawyers and in my life is also my father was he's no more now, but my father was a Bombay High Court lawyer. And he has also been working with great stalwarts like Ram Jethmalani and Nani Palkhiwala and all those people. So when he used to come home often, and I used to have a lot of discussions, of a variety of cases. And when Shriyanka spoke about litigation, I was so excited because my father also used to keep talking about litigation all the time. And there used to be so many cliche terminologies used to use about in the field that people use in the field of law. एक हो हिंदी में कहा जाता था कब्जा बलवान. If you want to vacate some premises and people would come to the lawyers, he would say kabza kar lo, kabza balwan hai. So that's like a kind of joke. But coming back to my dearest students over here, these are all my gems, my stars. And I'm very, very proud of all these students whom I'm actually witnessing today and interacting with. I don't know where to begin with. I guess I'll begin with Rishika, because Rishika, when I first started teaching Rishika, she was a very gentle, quiet, and very, I wouldn't say introverted, but I would say very much focused on what she had in her mind. And I remember her mother dropping her often on school on the two-wheeler. The mother was very enthusiastic also along with her. So initially then Rishika started showing a lot of interest in vocabulary. And I used to always tell I had a, discussion with my other English teacher colleagues also. Other teachers would believe in giving summaries to the students for examination preparation. And I would always insist on the fact that they should read the text thoroughly in order to attempt any answer or that the CBSE would like to throw up a challenge at. So this is my students here would remember that. And I believe that those students who literally took this seriously have really excelled in their word power, you know, because reading the text thoroughly, it really gives them a good advantage to begin with in school life. So when Rishika spoke about reading too much, like even Upasna, I guess Upasna was also an avid reader. She has also done French with me, I guess. And her mother was also a French teacher, which unfortunately, she is one of my best friends and she's no more today. But she has had a very good focus and command on French also. So she has been a very good, I can say she's a linguist. And I think these things, being a linguist, you know, can help you a lot in your field of law, because when you talk about law, you get a variety of kind of people coming up and putting forth their problems before you, and you have to deal with them. And if you are well versed with your words and language, you can really win them over and try and understand their problems very well. And that's the reason I was researching, reading about a couple of things on law today. And in India also, if you have a command over foreign languages, you really are placed well as a lawyer. Now, so that was for law. And now coming back to Betpriya, of course, she was one of my very good colleagues, Sukanya Lahiri's daughter. And Betpriya, I remember, was a very, very simple person. She, like my daughter, she also had migrated from DPS Bhilai to DPS Durg. And both of them have been very good students in DPS Bhilai. And here also, Betpriya would also be a very, very simple, down to earth, but a very good student academically. And she was a very simple person to talk to, and she wouldn't talk much. As I said, she was rather focused during her school years. So they stood out as students who were focused and who were very simple. And it was very obvious to us that they would carve a niche for themselves once they graduate from school. And coming back to Rachna was also very active in all her activities. She's another kind of personality where she would take a part in all all activities, and she would be bubbly and up and about and interactive with teachers and students, and she had a great rapport with everyone. And then, you know, when she would read a lesson, I would always ask her to read lessons in the text, and she would always be enthusiastic to do so. And I could make out, and I had once compliment. I don't know whether you remember that, Rachna, but
I do remember, ma'am.
Yeah, I
It was
complimented
class
her that
11. It was in
yes,
class 11.
yes, that you would be somebody, you know, because her tone, her intonation, her the way she read out her lessons was very impressive. And Akanksha Pandey, again, I would what I remember of Akanksha is a very sincere, very, very serious look on her face, and very, very focused. And all teachers would always think and talk about these students as very focused and brilliant and very communicative. And as far as English is concerned, we were proud of them. Certainly very, very proud of them. And you have really proved us. You have proved your mettle. You have shown us that we were not wrong in being proud of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so it's really nice to hear about each one of you, and that too in a very comprehensive as well as I would say brief manner. So ma'am has really told about each one of you. Now I
I'm
would
sorry,
go
sir.
back
I
to.
forgot. I'm sorry, sir. I missed out Shriyankar. Shriyankar was also a very bright student. He was a little shy. I mean, he would not like to do a lot of writing work, but eventually we used to counsel him. We used to sit with him and counsel, and he would come around. He was a very good musician. He used to play a very good. He used to play guitar, and as far as drawing and painting is concerned, he was very good at that also. So I think that also was one of the greatest factor in channelizing his energies towards something where he could actually carve a niche for himself. Thank you, sir.
So now, we will move ahead to the next segment, because in a while we will be having another webinar. So I would like to quickly go back to the CAs now. If you have to guide the children, if you have to give them a kind of algorithm as to what shall be your first step, then the second step, and accordingly, I think Rachita, you can start, and then Akanksha can also join you. I want to give children exact roadmap as to how they can move ahead, keeping in mind a career as a chartered accountant. So, Rachita, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, once you're through with your class 12, please take up your CA entrance exams as early as you can. without wasting a single day itself, I would say. See, it would be a situation wherein you have just finished up with your board exams, and now after a month or so, you all must be having your entrance exams like any other competitive exam. So please just don't think कि guys आज ही तो मेरा 12th का एग्जाम खत्म हुआ है, मुझे क्या वापस से पढ़ना है. Please don't think that. It's just a matter of 1.5 month more. Then once you're through with your entrance, you will definitely have about 1.5 months in your hand wherein you can enjoy your life. Like, then once you have cleared your entrance exams, then now the journey of 9 months starts. Herein you have around 6 months in your hand. You will be probably having around 6 months wherein you have to do all your classes. There are 8 subjects for CA inter exams. Now in those 8 months, you'll have to cover up all your subject classes. This is a bit difficult, but I mean, there will be a time wherein from morning 7 to evening 8 or 9, you will be having your classes. But just don't think कि ये मैं मेरी life के साथ क्या कर रहा हूँ या क्या कर रही हूँ, सिर्फ classes. No, these long stretch classes are actually preparing you to take up your self-study part, which is actually required just before the exams. So once those 6 months classes are over, then in those 3 months, I would say that will require, a kind of self isolation. Now, a self quarantine basically for 3 months. In these days, I would call it as quarantine. Those 3 months you have to cut off from your world. I mean, there's no shortcut to it, or there is no, no other way of it. I'm not sure if Akansha has some other way. She might have. Like, this was my way of dealing with these things. Then once CA IPCC is cleared, then you'll have to go for a mandatory training for of 3 years. This we will have to do it under some qualified chartered accountant as per the norms laid down. So here comes a tricky part. Most of the students, most of the aspiring chartered accountants have got it. Might have a second opinion of having a dummy articleship, or in layman terms we call it as internship, a 3-year internship program. So my advice to you all would be, please don't go for dummy articleship. Those 3 years are actually, those 3 years of practical training are actually preparing you for the corporate or whichever, kind of exposure you are willing to have or enter into once you are qualified. They are actually preparing you for that. Like, those 3 years are, a basic building stone of you being into practical world. I'm not saying bookish world, a practical world. I mean, see, what we read in our books is altogether different from the practical world. I mean, you will apply some concepts, of course. I mean, majority of the concepts what you have read, but yes, that practical training is very much essential. This you will realize once you qualify and go out in the market and, try to grab the opportunities. There you will feel कि yes, your internship or those 3 years of practical training has literally helped you to get that, job or career opportunity, whichever you are willing to get into. Yeah.
Okay, Akanksha, you can guide the young aspirants in your own way. Go
Yes,
ahead.
sir, thank you. What I would say is, of course, I agree with Rachita, because you need to be totally self-isolated once exams are concerned. Because don't just avoid that feeling that what I'm doing with my life, or getting tensed or depressed, or many things happen. Actually, we have been in that flow, so we have been through that. We have seen other people go through that. When negativity like totally overwhelms you, especially before exams. But CA course as a course requires a very sound. You need to have sound mentally. You have to be very strength. It is very important. And secondly, I would say is, since it requires a lot of dedication, and of course you need to get rid of social media and needless distractions. And then comes articleship. Rachita has already given a roadmap, so I won't go through that foundation and intermediate. But I would concur with her in the way that articleship is very important. many people, I have seen people do dummy articleship, but what happens is you need to realize that once you are qualified, people won't come to you with a question paper on which a question is written. Yeah, this is my problem and I need to solve it. What articleship does is broadens our horizon. We get analytical skill, which is very important for a chartered accountant, and it broadens our horizon. It makes us think in various ways where we can solve various approaches through which we can solve a problem. So once you're a qualified chartered accountant, people won't come to you with a question paper that, yeah, please solve this. So that is the importance of articleship. And secondly, that is the stage where you get to know people dealing abilities. You get your people dealing abilities. There are many, you will meet many people, professionals, or common workers, and you, at that stage, you learn how to deal with various types of people of various backgrounds, or various kind of behaviors. Then after 3 years of articleship comes CA final. Of course, that is the last stage, so it requires that much of hard work. And then if you are qualified, then that's it. But after qualification, every hard work, everything is worth it.
Wonderful. I mean, you people
Sir,
have
I
given.
also have
Yeah.
one more point to add
Yes,
on,
yes,
if
yes,
I can,
Rachita.
if may I.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. See, in CA, inter and CA final, we all have, I mean, there are 8 subjects, 8 each. So total there are 16 subjects. So there is an option with the students to appear in as many subjects as they can. I mean, out of 8, in whichever level you are, say if we talk about CA final or CA inter, so there's an option with the students to appear in in all the 8 subjects or more, less than that. So my only advice to you all, I mean to all the students, would be, just don't think that you have got that option. Just take it as your school exams, wherein we never used to have the option. We used to study 10 subjects, 9 subjects, in whatever number they were, and still we used to, pass our classes with the flying colors. So just just take that point in mind, ki just never let that thought of appearing in less than 8 subjects just because only you have that option, because it will save your 6 months or your 3 years. So that would be my, yeah.
That's really nice. Actually, the point is that, at times the students think that till the time they are in a school, they are having so many foundations around and they're not, given that kind of a freedom. And one feels that when you are into your professional studies and into those courses, you'll get a bit of breather. But the way Rachita has, correctly said, till the time you reach the level you are actually intending to, you cannot relax, because the point is that it's not merely doing a course, it's not merely getting into a career, it's to be there and to be the best. Because there are people, those who have qualifications, but we find that when it comes to applying that knowledge on ground, we find that sometimes the people are not that conversant with their own field, so they struggle actually. So that is something which is also very important. I would like to quickly go to Shriyankar once again. Shriyankar, actually, one thing I would say, because you are, and you as well as Vedapriya, you are the seniors of these 2015 pass outs. There's normally one thing said, that in our job, in our career, in our studies, there's a lot of stress. I mean, I would like to ask you both, how do you beat stress? And what would you advise others how to beat stress and be, yourself, enjoy your life, at the same time succeed in your fields? So Shankar, you can start, please.
I guess Vedupriya should start that. I shouldn't say it. I think this is my opinion, because if I start saying it, then things will go wrong and it will be all negative things. So I will not say it. Please, Vedupriya, you can give some motivational and meditation tips, because I don't want to lie here. I do enough of lying in the court.
Vedapriya, you can speak. Come on.
Yeah, first. Sir, I think that a bigger part of balancing stress would be to do something that you are able to do. Like, firstly, choosing a profession. Like in legal fields, we have a lot many options. You could be a corporate lawyer. You could be litigating like Shreyankar. or you could be a teacher like me, right? So it's a matter of choosing what is your aptitude and what you are good at, and on basis of that, you doing a work that you are comfortable in. Next is the stress will still always be there. It's about balancing it mentally, like always trying to create a balance as much as possible to the highest possible degree, and ensuring that, see, to personally speaking, the only way I beat stress is by completing whatever, like handling whatever is causing me stress. So I work towards removing that stress. So that is the only way I would see it personally. But I see that being calm and doing a work that you are good at and are able to, that will create a balance that you need. Definitely.
So wonderful answer. Actually, there are two things. There are people into different professions either by choice or by chance. So when you are there by choice, you will certainly love doing your work. And when you love doing your work, you'll not be stressed.
Yeah, it gets
So
easier.
that is something which will make your life easier and the others as well. So Rishika, I would come back to you.
Yes.
Being in the position you are right now, what do you look up to? What do you want to do next?
Okay, as in professionally.
Yes.
Okay, so I think this answer is extremely individualistic. So by no means should my answer or will my answer match anybody else's. But I think for me, what I look up to and what has been like the primary driving force in because of which I took up law in the first place and because of which like the rest of my career path seems to be determined is actually a fictional character. So I initially the reason I took up law was also because of this fictional character called Atticus Finch, who was in this novel called To Kill a Mockingbird. And I think the reason I took up law in the first place was because of this village visit that Supriya ma'am had taken us to, where we were supposed to go see a Gram Panchayat. And that Gram Panchayat, it was reserved for a women, it was one of those villages that was reserved for women in terms of who should be heading the Panchayat, the Panch. And it turned out that that woman was just sitting in a corner while her husband was really actually calling the shots. And that really disturbed me as a student. And since then, I've just been sort of driven by the idea of, I don't know, contributing towards fixing some things that I thought were extremely unfair. And then finally, like initially I thought I would want to be a journalist, and then Supriya ma'am herself only told me that law was a good way to go around what I was thinking of. And I think I don't really have a role model or someone I look up to, primarily because I'm a first generation lawyer from my family. So yeah, I mean, my role models have always mostly been fictional, but recently I met this advocate who works in Bombay right now, and he basically his entire practice is centered around advocating against the death penalty, and he's effectively a criminal lawyer. And I think he comes closest to being my role model or being something that I look up to in terms of where I would want my career to be driven. But I think in terms of role models, what I'd really like to say is that more than having a person you can look up to drive you, I think it's really, really important to have a very strong reason for the field you're taking up as your career. And that reason could be anything. It could, of course, be celebrity, fame, and money, but it could also be a bunch of other things that are more personal or like more emotionally driven. And I think that could be one major driving force that helps you deal with the stress of the profession that you're in, but also helps you deal with the deal with the kind of hectic schedules that most law schools have. So on a tangent, I think one big thing that I actually wanted to say to all students attending is that a lot of people take up law because they don't want to do medicine and they don't want to do engineering. And I think that kind of reasoning is not ideal, because I agree CLAT is a far less hectic entrance exam than the engineering entrance exams or the medicine entrance exams are. But once you get into law school, it's 5 years of like really hard work. And that becomes a little difficult to take for people who just took up law because they didn't like other things. You also have to have a very strong positive reason to take up law. Now, that could be in the form of someone you look up to in your family or a celebrity figure, or it could just be in the form of a strong reason that you have in your head.
Yeah, Upasana, I would come back to you now. If you have to give some tips to the budding lawyers or those who think of getting into law, because we are into the last segment now. After a little while, we have another webinar which is based on a different subject. So I would quickly come back to everyone. You can give one or two tips to the children, those who are listening you. Upasana, your tips, 1, 2. Come on.
For those who are aspiring to sit for the law entrance exams, I only have one mantra for you, and that is read. Read a lot. Start with newspapers. Pick up a good English language newspaper and familiarize yourself. And as cliched as it might sound, go for the editorials. Take the bull by the horns and read the editorials. You might not understand it for months, but one day you will understand, and that process is important. So keep reading and keep trying to get a good command over the English language.
Great, wonderful. Rachita, your tips, please.
So my tip to all to all aspiring chartered accountants would be, try to increase your sitting capacity, because there are gonna be days wherein out of 24 hours you will have to study or be around books for at least 16-17 hours, just having a nap time and daily utilities time separate. So try to increase your sitting capacity from the now on, so that once you reach that stage, there is no wastage of time which you cannot actually afford to while you are you're about to appear for your exams. That would be my tip.
Great. Akanksha, your tip to the viewers.
My mantra for aspiring chartered accountants will be consistent. There is no shortcut for success. So be consistent, work hard, and try to take interest in various subjects, like start reading Economic Times maybe, or take up journals. You won't understand at first, that's given, because at beginning stage we are not able to grasp everything, but over time you will capture things, and that will be your value addition.
Great. Now I'll again come back to Shrankar. Shrankar, you can give your tips. Come on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted to give those tips. Sorry for intermittent disconnections. I'm really sorry for that. The thing is, I would like to take 2 minutes. Do we have 2 minutes?
Yeah,
Sir,
we
do
can.
we have 2 minutes now?
Yes, we can.
Yes. See, the thing is, I'm in my profession, and this is litigation. For litigation, there are certain key attributes which a lawyer needs to practice this profession, which I believe. And I have I've compiled it in a place, and those things are: first, I believe, is communication skills. Your PR skills and communication skills should be very good. It should be clean and clear. It should be very crisp and short. As Zora ma'am taught me someday, like long way back, it should be crisp and short. Very crisp and short and clean and clear. Your communication skills. Secondly, knowledge. Knowledge is very important. See, I would like to share a small story. See, the thing is, जब लाइट चली जाती है, तब आपको अपने घर में, जहाँ पे आप 30 साल से बैठे हुए हो, आपको दिखता नहीं है कुछ, आपको समझ भी नहीं आता कि कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, क्योंकि आपको कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है. इट्स लाइक इट्स डार्क, इट्स एवरीवेयर, इट्स डार्क. बट एज सून एज यू लाइट अ मैच स्टिक और एक कैंडल लाइट जब जलता है, देन यू फाइंड योर वे. इधर उधर आप चले जाते हो, आपको जो करना है आप कर लेते हो. दैट लाइट is your knowledge. So remember to improve your knowledge every single moment. Knowledge is very important. Third is presence of mind. If you're into this profession, your presence of mind should be very good. It should be very, very fast, very fast. I am practicing in district courts as well as high court. In high courts, you need to argue with the judges as well, apart from the advocates who are in your opponents. Apart from that, you have to argue with the judge as well. So when you are arguing with the judge, he is like in a different level altogether, and I'm a junior. So that presence of mind is very important. Presence of mind is very, very, very fruitful, very useful. Apart from this, these things which I just said, these things can be worked upon. but there are certain skills which you cannot work upon, and that is creativity. You need creativity for doing good in this profession, and creativity is not a thing which you can create. It's already given to you by birth. It's a gifted thing. Apart from that, the thing is, you need patience. Yes, patience is the key to everything. Patience is required for each and every single job in this world, be it teaching, be it law profession, be it doctor's profession, be it teacher's profession. Patience is the key to everything. So have patience. It will not be quick. It will not be quick. It will be very slow, but steady. It should be steady. Apart from that, the most important thing, see, being a CA, being an advocate, कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग दुकानदारी कर रहे हैं. We have got the fees, we charge fees, we get the profit. दुकानदारी चल रहा है यहाँ पे. So दुकानदारी के लिए सबसे important, what I believe is your reputation and your goodwill. एडिडास का वो टी शर्ट 1500 रुपए का आता है, बट उसकी क्वालिटी 500 रुपए की होती है. जो 1000 रुपए जो एक्स्ट्रा बीच में जो आता है ना, दैट इज द गुडविल रेपुटेशन विच दे हैव क्रिएटेड. And decades, it has been decades to create that, actually, that level of goodwill, that amount which they are charging today. So goodwill and reputation is the most profitable thing which you can get, and do work upon that. And lastly, again, like, this is the end, don't be disheartened by any negative event which happens in your life, because you are not in control. You are not at all in control. There are so many extraneous factors, for example corona. See, so there are so many extraneous factors you don't have control upon. So don't be disheartened, don't be sad, just keep the vehicle moving. That's it. चलाते रहो गाड़ी बस बढ़िया से. That's it. This is what I.
Very nice, very nice, very nice, very comprehensive. And now I'll come back to Vedapriya. She is waiting for her turn to sum up and to give some tips to the children, those who are watching. Yeah, Vedapriya, please.
All right. To sum up, I would just say, because we are talking about aspirants here, is that have a reason for choosing this field. Don't choose law because you don't have to study maths. That should not be your reason, right? A lot of us feel that we are not good at maths, and if we are not good at maths, what else can we do? Talk and live. So we should avoid that mentality. I agree to what Rishika said, that you have to study a lot. So develop a habit of study. But having said that, I agree that law school is rigorous, but law school is about building your attitude and your personality. That will result into all the things that Shreyankar is telling. And the good part is that you can develop each and every one of them if you want to choose litigation. And law has a lot of options. You are not limited to only one particular field. You have to, like, I am not to say against any other profession, but in engineering, you do BTech, you may do an MTech, you have to do a management if you want better positions or managerial roles, right? In law itself, after your bachelor's degree, you may get a lot of opportunities altogether. So it is a degree which is complete in itself, and it opens your world to much better things. So when you choose it in terms of what courses you want to apply for, think and research a little bit more about law, and then do everything that Upasna said, what Rishika said, and what Shreyanka said. Thank you.
Wonderful. Actually, this panel has given new insight into, because normally when we talk about any career, normally what we see that the kind of confusion the younger minds carry, those who are in class 9 and 10, they are confused. When they come into their class 11, there are few those who are clear about their ambition and they move ahead. But
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Swami Vivekananda has said that if you are confused and if you are thinking that what I should do and what I should, like, what after this step, then you are on the right process. You are on the right way. So being confused is a part of learning. I believe it's all part of the same thing.
Yes.
It's all
happens.
written.
It happens actually with everyone. It's all natural. I'm not saying that it is something which is accidental at all. The point I wish to put across is that, that we need to understand that whatever we are wanting to do, we need to be clear about our aim. One. Second is that there has to be a plan. And when we plan things, we need to have those step-by-step things happen. consistency is always the key. We cannot think of getting onto the top in a single day. It's a process, in which you are there and you will be reaching a level you actually desire to, or where you have the potential for. But the point is that consistency has to be there, sincerity has to be there, honesty has to be there. These fundamental values of life, they'll always be required. As far as I was asking a question in between regarding the stress that you carry, the point is stress is a part of our life, and we need to live with it. What is required is that we need to understand what is the way to balance it, the way it has been said by the panelists here. It's not that there would be a day when there would be no stress. So, every day there would be some or the other eventuality. We start our day on a note. We never know what way the day would finish. And we never know when we go to sleep that when we rise in the morning, what shall be the situation. So it's all that ways with everyone. But the most important thing is that if you are true to what you are doing, if you are really, you don't have to explain it to anyone else. The person in the mirror is the one who will tell you whether you are on the correct path or not. So for the students, those who are...
I would like to add something, small thing, and that is when it comes to stress, I didn't opine on that in the first stage. The thing is, every person is unique. Everyone has his own way, on its unique way of dealing with the stress. So there is no such hard and fast tool for dealing with the stress, what I believe personally, because every individual is unique. I go and play badminton. Some people go for partying, some people go for alcohol, some people go for dancing. So there are so many ways of dealing with the stress. But yes, the actual thing is, you should know the way to deal with the stress. There should be some sort of solution so that you are not in depression after some time. So you need to deal with it.
Mostly I would say one thing: depression is a word which is being used more frequently over last, I would say, a decade or so. Earlier, we never used to hear that much of depression and all that stuff. Still, I'll tell one thing to everyone, we should be in control of our own mannerism, our own way of going ahead with the things.
So this is advent of westernization.
And nothing ever, goes wrong if you are committed to the cause you are actually ahead with. So we have another webinar scheduled, very soon. So I would like to once again wish luck to everyone, the panelists out here. May God bless you with lots and lots of success. May you be, shining the way you are, and may there be many things which are going to happen, which are going to even make you even better in your fields, be it the chartered accountants or the lawyers. I always say one thing, that for you people, even sky is not the limit. You can even have your own levels of achievement. And I wish you luck on behalf of the entire Delhi Public School family, on behalf of our staff, on behalf of our PVC sir. And I would like to see you people soon in school when the corona goes away. We would want you to interact with our children one-to-one, and let that day come soon. So all the very best to you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you
so much, sir.
So can I just add something? I'll take 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think we have to start with another webinar. You can give a quick thing you want to.
No, so I just wanted to thank Zora ma'am for everything she said. It's just really nice to be remembered by a teacher after 6 years of graduating. And she's totally right. You should definitely listen to her and read a lot, because I think it's not just good for competitive exams or career. It also just opens up possibilities in your head. I even think it makes you a better person if you read a lot. Just read a lot.
Certainly. Thank you so much. Good evening to all. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.